Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming to the last community breakfast for this calendar year. You can see on the table that we do have a save the date out for next year. Make sure you take those and put them in your Outlook, and we'll send out reminders as we get closer with what the topics are and if there's any changes as we go along next year. We want to make sure that we thank our partners in the planning, and that would be the Berry County Courts, CASA, Community Action Agency of South Central Michigan, Great Start Collaborative, and Family Support Center. I do also want to recognize Cheryl, who used to work for the courts, but she has stayed on the planning committee, and Rich Franklin from the ISD provided some of the food that you're enjoying today. Today we will be hearing about the services available through Community Action Agency South Central Michigan. Our two presenters are Michelle Slaughter, the Hastings Center Manager. She manages both sites here in Berry County, or in Hastings. Michelle has worked for Community Action for 20 years. And like a lot of us in the field, she started at the bottom and worked her way up, and is grounded in the goals and the dreams and the rules of community action and helping people. Chris Brown, as in November here, has been with Community Action for 10 years. She's the education manager, and they'll be talking about their jobs. Their commitment and dedication have really made a great difference here in Hastings and in Berry County. So I would like you to give them some applause as they come up to present. Thank you.
Okay, well, good morning, everyone. What do you think about this weather? We're in t-shirts, tank tops, October 30th. Pretty interesting. Some of us were just talking at the table. We're wondering what this winter is going to look like. Farmer's Almanac is predicting a doozy. We'll see. But thank you again for coming together this morning and for having us as your guest speakers. Again, I'm Michelle Slaughter, the Hastings Center Manager. And this is Chris.
I'm Chris Brown. I'm the Adult Education Manager.
And we're going to go ahead and get started, letting you guys know what we're all about. All right, so we are a nonprofit organization, right? Community Action is a 501c3 nonprofit organization whose mission is dedicated to helping people achieve and maintain independence. Here are the few programs that we're going to be talking about today. A little history. I have a video to get us started I thought was really interesting that I wanted to share. I feel like I need to hold this.
Yeah, you can. You can.
Okay. And I should have brought the PowerPoints in front of me. I feel a little nervous when I'm talking, so I feel like I need to stay on track and have something to look at. So I hope you don't mind. Community Action Agency began in 1964 with the Economic Opportunity Act by President Johnson, the War on Poverty. In 1965, Project Head Start began in Pelham County and 2,300 other communities across the nation. Thank you. Thanks, Rich. Community Action Agency of South Central Michigan was incorporated in May of 1966. We're going to go ahead and show this short video with a little bit of history about Head Start so you can understand how it all started.
And this administration today, here and now, declares unconditional war on poverty in America.
In his State of the Union address on January 8, 1964, President Lyndon B. Johnson urged Congress and the citizens of the United States to do everything necessary to end poverty in our country. With Sergeant Shriver at the helm, the war on poverty took shape as a comprehensive effort to address the needs of the nation's poor, nearly half of whom were children. Enacted by the 88th Congress, the Economic Opportunity Act created a preschool program that would change the way we educate our children. It would give them a head start and work to eliminate the cycle of poverty in our country. On May 18, 1965, President Johnson announced the creation of Project Head Start in a White House Rose Garden ceremony. He spoke about the importance of investing in children. Head Start launched that summer as an 8-week program serving more than 500,000 children nationwide. The following year, after a remarkable first summer, Congress authorized Head Start as a year-round program. In the mid-1970s, Head Start had served more than 5.3 million children in every corner of our nation. The first Head Start program performance standards were created in 1975. They outlined guidelines and expectations for all Head Start programs. By 1984, the Head Start budget exceeded the $1 billion mark, and the program had served 9.1 million children in its nearly 20-year history.
Few things could be more central to the life and health of our nation than the education of our children.
In the early 1990s, President George H.W. Bush proposed a 27% increase in Head Start spending to expand access to preschool for low-income families. Then, in 1994, the Head Start Reauthorization Act created new opportunities for Head Start to lead early care and education. The act helped Head Start keep true to communities, parents, and children by building on the vision and recommendations contained in a report issued by the Advisory Committee on Head Start Quality and Expansion. 1994 also saw the creation of the Early Head Start program to address the comprehensive needs of pregnant women and low-income children under age 3. The Head Start Reauthorization Act of 1998 allowed for full-day, full-year services, set education standards for teachers, and focused renewed attention on school readiness and literacy.
Our budget increases the funding for Head Start while giving it a clear mission.
In 2007, Congress passed the Improving Head Start for School Readiness Act. This act preserved Head Start as a federal to local program, strengthened state roles, and enhanced standards for education, workforce, and accountability. By 2010, with the help of federal, state, and local partners, Head Start had invested in more than 27 million children since its inception in 1965. But the path hasn't always been easy. The 112th Congress threatened to cut funding to Head Start, but the $1.1 billion budget decrease was rejected by the Senate. By April 2011, a budget was passed that enabled all current Head Start families to remain in Head Start programs. As the turbulence in Congress continued, the 2013 sequestration caused more than 57,000 children to lose their seats in Head Start classrooms. The $427 million budget cut had a massive impact on Head Start's ability to serve the most vulnerable children in our country. On January 13, 2014, Head Start programs breathed a sigh of relief when Congress passed a spending bill to fully restore funding. Later that year, Head Start received a $1 billion increase in funding, including a new investment in early Head Start childcare partnerships. The Obama administration then convened the best minds in education, both in the private and public sectors, at the White House Summit on Early Education.
Early education is one of the best investments we can make, not just in a child's future, but in our country.
Their mission was to recommit the country to providing quality early education for all our citizens. As Head Start turns 50 years old, we set out with renewed spirit, recharged conviction, and the reclaimed imperative to continue the war against poverty by inspiring all of our young people to learn and achieve. With 32 million alumni and 50 years of opportunity, we're all part of one historic change.
Okay, so the video is a little outdated, but I still find history interesting. 59 years now with Head Start, and 60 years for community action. So, all right, so let's get into what our agency does and what our programs have to offer. Qualifying preschool. Our Head Start and Early Head Start programs, also GSRP included, have quality educational, social, developmental opportunities for children birth to 5 years old, including children with disabilities. Expectant mothers receive helpful tips and support to help prepare for baby's arrival. The service is available free of charge for qualifying families. So qualifying families, age is what we look at, birth to 5, that's who we service, along with expectant mothers. So eligibility requirements, we go by the federal government poverty guidelines. You have to be at 100% poverty level or below. Or if you receive public assistance, and that includes SNAP benefits, you could be determined as eligible for Head Start. We do prioritize homeless children and foster care children in our program. We can accept 10% over income, and we still try to prioritize really needy families to service first. And we do reserve 10% of our slots, at least 10% of our slots for children with disabilities. So for Berry County, it's not just Hastings, we have Delton as well. And between Hastings and Delton, we serve 132 children. Delton has 30 Head Start slots, 15 of which is GSRP funded. And when I say GSRP, if you're wondering, we have GSRP in the public schools. They're 100% state funded. We have a blended classroom where we're 50% Head Start federally funded and the other half is state funded. So we do have those blended classrooms. And Delton has 16 early Head Start slots available for infants and toddlers. And then they do have a home-based program that they serve in Berry County. Maybe some families could really benefit from having some parent education pieces, having children socialize, but maybe they're not ready for their child to be in the center yet. So we do have that option available in Berry County. For Hastings, we have our full-day center, and we have 30 Head Start children at our full-day center, 15 in our blended GSRP classroom. We have 16 early Head Start slots, which is for infants and toddlers. And then we also have a part-day program in Hastings, and that is located out by Thornapple Manor. That is a part-day program, 15 slots for AM, 15 slots for PM. They go from 8:30 to noon, and then the afternoon session is noon to 3:30. And we do have a bus available for our part-day kiddos. It's anywhere in Berry County. So if you live in Middleville or you live in Nashville, we actually have a bus route that goes through Middleville in the morning and a bus route that goes through Nashville in the afternoon so that we can service more families in Berry County. So what sets us aside from some other centers here in Hastings, I would say, or Head Start in general, is our quality program, our quality staff. We have qualified staff, right? So staff that have, our lead teachers that have their bachelor degrees in early childhood education. We have assistant teachers and early childhood educators, infants and toddler teachers that have their associate's degrees and their CDAs. We have a really, really great agency that provides some excellent professional development for us throughout the year. And we just have a phenomenal group of people that come together and share the mission. They really are dedicated to helping, not just the child, but the family as a whole. And I believe that is why our program is so great, truly because of the staff that we have. We use creative curriculum. It's a social, emotional, physical, cognitive, and language and literacy curriculum. Focuses on those main areas of development. We also have a classroom assessment scoring system that we use, and that is to improve teaching quality through individualized professional development. The responsive and effective teacher and child interactions are our main focus, right? A lot of these kids, they're coming to us and we are their first school experience, the first time that they're away from their families, and we want to make sure that their first school experience is a really positive thing. a lot of the families that we serve, you know, maybe they didn't have the best school experience, right? And we just want to make connections with families and children so that that way they have a good feeling about school, and that will kind of set the tone going forward in their school journey. So I talked a little bit about our home-based option. We use a Parents as Teachers program for that. That's promoting secure parent-child relationships. And both at the home-based option and at the center level, we use conscious discipline. It's a trauma-informed approach. I'm not sure if anyone has heard of it, but Dr. Becky Bailey, she was a preschool teacher. She's you know, has a lot of experience and has done a lot of research on social emotional learning. And this program has been a really great positive impact for our program as we've been practicing it for years and years now. So it is an adult first technique. We want to teach adults that it starts with us, right? Adult regulation and skill sets first to empower adults to model to teach, right? So we have to live the skills we want children to acquire. All right, and then family engagement. So our classrooms are open to our parents anytime that our program is open. So during all program hours, we have an open door policy. We want families to come in and be a part of what we do. We are a social service program. So again, our focus is not just on the child. It is about the family as a whole. A lot of the families that we serve, they might not have, you know, a strong upbringing, and they might just not have some of the skills that they really hope to have, and we can help model that and teach that in the classroom. It's really fun when parents do come in and they see what we do, especially using conscious discipline, you know, routine, consistency, with the children in the classroom, making it about community, right? We don't want to have classrooms where we have that negative feel or tone in the classroom. We want to connect with children. We want to connect with families. We always say the more you connect, the less you correct. And we believe that it's absolutely true. And our families see it when they come into the classroom. They do. Because we have all of the tools and experience to be able to show, you know, that choice gives children power, and they're more likely to benefit from our programs, and we see less behavior when children have a say in things, when children feel like they belong in our classroom, when parents feel like they belong in our classroom. We see the care, right? So when we see the care, a lot of the times we see that there aren't going to be as many behaviors. And so we appreciate that when parents do come in and they can kind of get on board and share the story of, hey, you know what, I used to be a yeller, you know, and my kids they tuned me out. But now if I can tell them, instead of, don't run down the hall, don't run down the hall, you know, if I can tell them, hey, I need you to hold my hand so that I can keep you safe, right? When we walk out in the parking lot, you know, you're down here and the cars are up here, they can't see you. Hold my hand so I can keep you safe. It feels better, right? It feels better for the kids, it feels better for the parents, it feels better all the way around, and we practice that all day, every day. So again, we really love to have families come in. We love to have a culture that's inviting and positive and warm. So great opportunities for building relationships with families by modeling and partnering, and then collaborating in the health and well-being of the child. So while we're talking about health, we do have some people in the room that we do work with on a regular basis to make sure that children and families are healthy. That is a part of our program. You heard about our Head Start performance standards in that video that was just shown. Health is a huge component in our program. So physicals and well baby exams, well child exams, it's a licensing requirement. It's a Head Start performance standard that we do have a health exam on file within the first 30 days of school. This information is really beneficial to us, not only to make sure that children are up to date on immunizations, but there are some other information that comes through on those well-child exams that can help us support the child and the family. Our goal is to help families establish medical homes, right? So primary physicians. There are a lot of families that come in and they will take their child to urgent care or to the emergency room for things that really they should have a primary physician establish for routine care to get to know the child. So we make that a goal with families, right? We want them to have a dental home. We want to teach that it's important for those baby teeth to stay just as healthy as we would want adult teeth to, as they're the primary teeth. And it, again, sets the stage for overall health and for kids to get comfortable with the dentist at a young age. You know, there can be a lot of stigma with going to the dentist, or parents have their own fears that they kind of pass on. So we want to really encourage families and children to go to a primary doctor and to have a dental home. If families need help establishing insurance, then we can assist. We have family service advocates that kind of support this along the way to make sure that children and families have their insurance, or if they need assistance with establishing that, we do that. Children are going to their well baby exams when they're supposed to. Children are going to their well child exams on a yearly basis as well. Some other things that we do for Head Start children, right? We're getting them ready for school. We need to make sure hearing and vision is something that we screen for. If we need to do referrals, it's amazing how many kids that come into the program, parents did not know that they couldn't see, and then, you know, we're able to detect that early and refer them, and then they get glasses, and it's a whole new world, and they see just a major difference with their child, whether it's glasses or you know, hearing aids or whatever else. It's been pretty amazing. We help support with lead testing. That has been a little bit of a struggle, but I think that we're kind of coming out of the woods in that struggle area, and really supporting families in making sure that their children are tested for that. So child nutrition, I just wanted to share a little bit about child nutrition. We do family-style meals in our program. This is a really amazing thing for kids that maybe they don't have a dining room table. They haven't ever sat at a table with their family and had the opportunity to serve themselves. Again, getting them ready for school, they have to have these skills. So giving them that opportunity, we have great conversations at the table, talking about, you know, the food, where it came from, how it's good for our bodies, just exposure to different types of foods, right? We serve meals and snacks that conform to USDA requirements. They're high in nutrients, and there are a lot of kids that when they come to our center and they're exposed to new foods, they're not really sure about it, right? But our teachers are modeling, and maybe another child gets brave and they try a bite, and then before you know it, we have kids that are really liking fruits and vegetables and you know, main components that they might not have ever had the opportunity to have had they weren't, you know, if they weren't in our program. And we do share with families, you know, the importance of nutrition as well. We share different ideas on what they can do for healthy snacks and meals at home. So I just wanted to share a little bit about that too, because I thought that that was a really great component about our program and what it teaches children and families in the long run. Mental health and disability. We have children that come in that we already know that they have some disabilities, right? They have an individualized education plan. They already work with ISD, but we do have children that come into our program that parents, they can understand their child, right? So they may not know that their child could benefit from some extra services and some early intervention. So it's great when they can come into our program and we can get a head start on those types of referrals. You know, speech and language is usually the main one, but there are other referrals that we are able to do with the ISD, with them coming in and screening, and we can get children, you know, the supports and services that they need. I talked a little bit about family service advocates and how they support families with health. They also support families with goal setting. So, housing, transportation, their mental health, their education, employment, parenting skills. And we kind of do it interview style, right? And whether it's in the home or at our center, we sit down with families and we help them establish goals. And it's pretty amazing when families do come in and they're like, hey, I never even thought about a goal for myself. And it can be a little bit tricky for them. And then you write it on paper and you have somebody there supporting you and giving you the resources and tools that you need to establish that goal. And it's pretty amazing. And parents can come back and say, wow, thank you so much. Look at how this has helped. Talking about dedicating, for children and families to achieve and maintain that independence. It starts with somebody saying, hey, I see you and we support you and we're going to encourage you and we have a great community that can help you along the way. We have some community partners here and we just want to thank everybody that does involve themselves with us, and when we do refer out, we appreciate all of the loving care that you do provide for our families in Berry County. Partnerships is something that we have to do. But it's something that we want to do, right? The Family Support Center, we collaborate with them. We've done parent education classes with the Family Support Center. Hastings Public Library is great. They have their Reading is Fundamental program that comes in. We have Leanne that is with the GSE. She comes in. She just was able to donate books to our kids this month, and we just found out we're able to have a book every month that will go home for the kids through the GSE. Corewell Health comes in. They have a catch program. If you haven't heard of that, it's pretty amazing. Again, they teach nutrition in the classroom and the importance and benefits of exercise. All the doctors and dentists that we work with, especially Southside Pediatrics and Bright Start, Pierce Cedar Creek, they're amazing. They always come in and they have great experiences for us. Berry County Transit, they offer a $1 ride for anyone that is coming for community action services. So whether it's for Head Start services or to have services, for any of our other programs, we do have that established with the Berry County Transit that if you need a ride, it's only $1 to ride for community action services. The list could go on and on, but we do thank Tina, you're here, Tina from Berry County Cares. We do call Tina, we refer families over that way too. So we just thank everybody that comes and helps support us because we really couldn't do it. It takes the village. So some of these programs I'm not as actively involved in, but I do know a lot about them because I did work in them at one time. So the financial empowerment, we have had different activities and learning about financial empowerment at our Head Start family meetings. When we help someone with emergency services, whether that's utility assistance or rental assistance, a lot of times we will also work with creating a budget with them, try to help keep them on track so that maybe the next month is a little bit easier for them. And I also use the financial empowerment in my adult education. So we have some math credits sometimes when someone is doing high school completion rather than GED, and I can do these financial empowerment classes with them, and if they go through all 4 of them, they get half a credit in math. So that's been pretty cool too. So that leads me to adult education. I started doing a GED program in Battle Creek. I started doing the GED program in Battle Creek, and it kind of grew to the point that people were coming from Berry County to Battle Creek because they didn't have another place in Berry County to get services for GED prep. There was a school, Plainwell Community Schools, does the adult education in Berry County, but because it's a satellite site, they had limited days and hours, and they were just overwhelmed, and so they had a wait list. And these students were driving so far, I was like, that's got to be a hardship for you to drive all the way here just to take the GED prep classes.
So I called Plainwell Schools and asked them about their wait list, and it was about 50 students deep at the time. So we talked about forming a partnership, and after a couple of months it took to work all the details of that out, we started coming in and doing the GED prep in Berry County in partnership with Plainwell Community Schools. And so we were able to take a lot of students off that wait list, which was great. And that went on for about a year. And then Plainwell Community Schools asked if I would be interested in getting my certification to teach in the state of Michigan so that I could do high school completion as well. Because the students that wanted to do high school completion still weren't able to do it in Berry County, then they were having to go to Plainwell and work with a certified teacher. So once I obtained that certification, then we were able to start offering the high school diploma option as well as the GED option. And at this point, we've had several graduates from that program. That actually should have been the next slide, but I kind of messed up. So we have, if you want to go one more slide, yep. So we've had, it says 125, but we just had 2 more graduates. So we've had 127 graduates now as of this week. That's with GED and high school diploma, more GED, but still quite a few high school diploma students. And we have a ceremony in June for these students. So just like at the high school, you know, when they celebrate all that they've accomplished from graduating, we want to make sure that our students have that same opportunity to celebrate what they've done. And many of them have young children, so it's just great for their kids to come and see that and see that, you know, their parents place this importance on their own education, and the kids are always so proud of their parents. It's just a great thing to see. So I have actually a letter from one of my graduates that I'm going to read to you. So a lot of my female students had children early on, and that's what caused them to drop out of school. I would say probably over half of my female students, that's why they ended up stopping going to school. But many of my students felt like they were getting behind in school and they were just too embarrassed to say anything. And especially with math, when that happens, everything just piles up because each lesson builds on the lesson before. So if you fall behind and you didn't understand what was going on, now you're just lost for all the lessons that continue on from there. And if they were embarrassed to say that they didn't know what was going on a few lessons ago, now they're really embarrassed because they have no idea what's happening. So this student wrote a letter, and I thought it was really sweet. She said, "When I was in elementary school, I was given a light blue shirt with the year 2015 written across the front of it. I didn't understand what graduation was, how they knew what year I was supposed to do so, or why all these children around me shared the same year. 2015 felt hundreds of years away in my little mind, but it was explained to me and the years went on. Each year I was met with new expectations that I was failing to meet. The mountain kept getting taller, and eventually I just stopped trying to run up it. Now it's 2024 and I'm 27 years old. I had heard about Renaissance Adult Education Program for almost 2 years before attempting to sign up. I had hung the flyer above my dream board with the words, 'You could do it,' spelled out above the contact information. I didn't think I could, but I pushed myself to believe that I could. On the day of my first meeting to discuss the program with Chris, I almost didn't even show up, and once I was there, I had to convince myself to stay. The frustration I felt for my position and the fear I had of feeling like I was any less than what I already felt caused me to keep myself on the back burner. During my school years, there was never enough individual attention, and while some students can be successful in that environment, I was not one of them. The teachers were overwhelmed, and I was overlooked in my struggle to keep up with the rest of my peers. A few assignments behind turned into years until my junior year of high school, where I stopped attending altogether. I needed the attention and care of a single person to work with me continuously, and I couldn't have asked for a better program. I was shown patience where I was once shown frustration, and they catered to my learning needs instead of giving me the same cookie-cutter lessons that were given to everyone else. Most importantly, they took the time to understand how I needed things explained, and I was grateful to see many students succeed the same way while I was in the program. The experience I had gave me more confidence in myself and increased my ambition. I've now been able to look into college and have been able to pursue multiple dreams that I would have originally been held back from. Currently, I'm pursuing nursing through KCC. There is no barrier between me and success, between me and what I can be if I want to. The most exciting part is that I get to choose and I don't have to settle. Through the GED program, I've been able to become a better working gear in my community. I don't think I was supposed to graduate in 2015. I do think I was meant to go through everything I've had to get to this point, to the moment of walking across that stage, to care as much as I did and to work harder than I ever had. It wouldn't have meant as much to me in 2015, and for all the surprises I've given myself, completing the GED program was my biggest and most meaningful. So it is definitely the most grateful I've ever been to have a job. This is just the most meaningful work I've ever done. I love seeing my students graduate. And even when they understand something that they didn't think that they were ever going to be able to, when we first start math and they're like, I'm never going to get this, when they finally get to that point where they understand something that they've been working so hard on, it's just these moments of I'm very grateful. Okay, and then we also have, that was the picture of the student who wrote the letter with her son. He was very proud too. And then we also have the MRT program. So MRT stands for Moral Reconation Therapy. I do these classes as well as GED classes in the Barry County Jail. I also do them in Michigan Works, but only with the students that I've already started working with in the Barry County Jail. So if they've started with me in the Barry County Jail, I will finish with them in Michigan Works, but it's typically just a program that I do in the jail. So the MRT classes are almost a combination of AA because they have 12 steps, and I changed for Wellness, which is a mental health program. It's a program all about being honest with yourself and looking at where you are now in your life and how the choices that you've made up until this point have led you to there. A lot of our jail students will be very upset and angry and want to blame other people for where they are right now. And with the MRT program, we will really take a look at, what could we have done differently, 1 year ago or 5 years ago or 3 months ago to not be where we are right now. And then what can we do differently from this point forward so that we're in a better place in the future? We've had 12 graduates now from the MRT program, 3 on the outside at Michigan Works that finished up with me, and the rest of them in the jail. On the day that someone graduates from the program, they get a certificate, which is sometimes required by their probation, but sometimes they do it just for themselves because they hear from the other inmates that it's a great program and it's really helped them, and so they'll just come in because they want to. And I've even had one of my graduates that finished on the outside wasn't even required by probation to do it, and they were taking the transit to get there once a week because they just wanted to finish it for themselves. So I thought that was pretty neat. They do set goals in the MRT program, and then we look at those goals and we try to break them down to what steps they need to do, because sometimes when they get released, it can be very overwhelming, and they're told that they have to do all of these different things, and they're not sure how they're going to accomplish all of them. Some of them don't have their driver's license or transportation, regardless of whether they have their license or not. So just getting to these different places can be tricky. So we try to troubleshoot before they get out of, how are we going to manage this and how are we going to take care of everything that we need to take care of so we don't end up back here. So on the screen, that's one of the pages from the workbooks. A lot of the pages have you draw rather than write. There is a lot of writing. They complain sometimes about how much writing there is, but there's a lot of activities that will have them draw something. And the reason for this is because not everyone is great at writing, and it allows them to get out what they're trying to say through either pictures or stick figures and symbols if they're not good at drawing, and then they explain to us what they meant by that. I had my most recent graduate, and we don't require this at all when they finish the program, but we always joke that she's our overachiever because sometimes she would not only fill out what needed to be filled out in the workbook, but she would have extra pages she brought in because she had more to say about it. She wrote a note about what the MRT program meant. She called it her exit letter, and we all kind of laughed because no one had ever mentioned an exit letter. But she said, MRT has been a light turned on in my life. I have cried, laughed, learned, and grown. If I could retake this class, I would start over every time I completed it. Being an MRT has left me with a growth that feels unstoppable. I've overcome every thorn in my life, and now I'm excited to start my garden of endless goals and success. I'm very grateful for this moment, but most grateful to have ears to listen and extra minds to direct me to the right areas in life. One day I will look back and say, where would I have been without MRT, and keep moving forward with a smile that's real and not broken, a smile that's bright enough to give light to all, but most of all, that reflects a heart that's no longer broken, damaged, or hiding, because I decided one day, just one moment, that I was finally going to choose me to be the one to fix me. So MRT is really focused on getting people to realize that we're in control of our own lives and we can't control other people. We can only control our own actions and our reactions to things that happen. So yeah, that's been a really rewarding program as well. And then, do you want to talk about the senior volunteer program?
So we have a foster grandparent program, and our foster grandparent program is not just for Head Start. So we have foster grandparents that are employed by Community Action. They receive a stipend, and they're in our elementary schools. So the picture that is behind me here is actually a grandma at Star School with the principal, Amy Smelker, giving her an award there. But it is a great program. Seniors, when they're retired, they might be bored. They want to get out of the house. They have a love for children. It is a really great program because they can still be involved in the community, and they help support the teachers, and they give love to the babies.
All right, we're getting closer to 9 o'clock now, so I'm not going to talk too much longer. We have rental and utility assistance. So our assistance programs, as of this point, all go up to 200% of the poverty line. So we are able to help households that are maybe a little bit over the poverty line set by DHHS at times. We do strongly recommend that they apply first at DHHS to be able to utilize all the funds that are available in the community, because our program only goes up to a $1,000 cap. So, if they need help with multiple things, it's better to see what DHHS would help with, United Way, and then we can, look at what's remaining from that. We don't require them to go to DHHS first. We just recommend it because we want to help them out as best we can. We also have weatherization program. Our weatherization program also goes up to 200% of the poverty line. Weatherization can help people with things in their house, such as weather stripping, insulation. It really focuses on insulation in the walls, in your attic, in your basement. There have been times when furnaces were replaced or repaired. That's not something that is typically done, but if that's necessary in order to improve how we're keeping that heat in, then that has been done and can be done. And then we have a water program, a water and plumbing program that can help with past due water bills. So this one is separate from our regular utility assistance program. So it does not have that $1,000 cap. We can help with water bills that are past due that are quite high. And we can also help with any plumbing repairs that might be needed, maybe plumbing repairs that are causing that water bill to be so high. But also if there's any plumbing issues that are keeping them from having water in their kitchen or bathroom. They don't really talk about having a cap on that. The guys that are working in this program would rather just come out and take a look at what the person has going on and deciding if it's a job that they can handle. And so far, they've been able to tackle some pretty big jobs. So if you have any clients or families that you're working with that have any plumbing issues, please have them call that number. They have plenty of funds to assist with this. And for some reason, Berry County doesn't typically call as much for the weatherization and water program. So we're trying to really push that out in this community. We have flyers over there on the table for the water program. So if anyone wants to take those back to their office and hand those out to people or just have them available for them to pick out, we're really trying to push those programs here. We also offer food commodities. The pickup is at TVC Church. We have the TFAP program, and that one is a box of non-perishables that's available every 3 months. And then we have the CSSFP, which is for seniors. And they can call the main number to ask about that program, or they can even show up on the day of the next pickup with their ID, if it's for the TFAP, or ID and proof of income for the CSSFP, tongue twister, and get the box of food still on the spot. Just sign up and get the box at the time. Do you want to do the impact report?
Okay, so this is our last slide. It's just about 9 o'clock and we know we have to get you out of here, but we just thought that it would be great to include last year's impact report. Hard to believe that we're already almost to 2025, so this will soon be updated. But Chris already gave you some numbers from her graduate program. We were able to service 732 Head Start and Early Head Start kiddos in our agency. We have a career pathway program, and we were able to support 42 staff members to be able to complete their CDA. We have served 8,233 households. Number of rides provided. We do not have rides here in Berry County, but we do in other counties, and that number was 27,320. People that need to get to their medical appointments or wherever else, this is a really great service that we do have in other counties. Housing services, we had 207 homes completed. Volunteer hours, this is huge. We talked about parents coming in and volunteering, foster grandparents coming in, a lot of community, partners that come in, but a lot of hours from different people coming together to help support our programs. We have provided a large number of meals through Head Start and Early Head Start programs, and then we've been able to help with food boxes as well. A lot of money that we have for rent and utility assistance that we've provided. And again, like Chris said, there are flyers on the back table. We have a lot of funding for the water repair and water bill assistance. So please make sure that you tell your clients, tell everybody that you know, take as many copies as you want. We want to get that out to anyone and everyone that could benefit from. So, and then there's also flyers on the back table for enrollment for anyone that you might know, birth to 5. We do have 2 spots left at the Hastings Center. They are full-day spots, so if you know any 3 or 4-year-olds, please let them know about our program. And thank you so much for joining us this morning and for letting us present to you today.
All right, well, thank you for coming. Make sure that you fill out the half-page evaluation. This will help us planning for next year's 4 community breakfasts that we do. Any topics, any agencies you'd like to hear from, make sure you put it on the form. And if there's nothing else, we'll see you in January. Thanks.